What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another live. And thank you guys for joining in. We're going to probably be on the live for about an hour. And it'll probably, I don't know, we'll probably have 5, 6, 7, 800 people in here, depending upon how many people want to drop in. But that's typically the size of the chat. So if you have questions, which I will be taking questions, the best way to get to the top of the queue is through super chat. So the super chat questions will take priority over all other questions. So having said that, I wanted to start the live off by talking a little bit about the money trap. I like to call it the escaping the rat race. For 25 years, I was in that rat race. You know, I worked for a corporation for 25 years, and early on in my 25 years, I was on that same hamster wheel or in that same rat race that a lot of you guys find yourself in. And for me, though, I figured out how to get out of that rat race. I figured out how to take my income from my 9-to-5 job and one, keep it, and then two, multiply it. But let's talk a little bit about school and how school prepares us for this financial system we have here in the United States. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a proud American, and I think we have a great financial system. But I also believe unless you know the rules to that financial system, unless you know how to play the game in that financial system, you really can't participate in it. And I don't believe, high school or college prepares us for this high stakes financial game that we have going on in our financial system. So that's what I want to talk about a little bit, and then we'll get into some Q&A. So, in my opinion, what does high school and college prepare us to do? In my opinion, it prepares us to get a job, right? They teach us the basics in high school, right? They teach us, math. They teach us English. They teach us history. They teach us science. They teach us the basic things we need to have an intellectual level so that we can go out and find a job, right? Now, when we go off to college, they take it a step further. In college, you can actually zero in on an actual skill set, right? So if I want to be a doctor, if I want to be a lawyer, if I want to be a teacher, if I want to be a phys ed teacher, if I want to be a biologist, whatever, I can zero in on a skill set when I get to college. But again, college does what? It prepares us to get a job, right? And that's for a reason. You got to understand, in our financial system, 70% of our economy is made up of consumer spending. So the system only works. Our economy only works when people like you and I, we're gainfully employed, we're making money, and we're spending that money. That's when our financial system is at its best, right? But here's the downside to that. Since they don't teach us anything about keeping money and then multiplying money, most of us know how to make money, and we do that very well. We just spend it all. And I'm not coming up with that statistic. You go out and do some research, you'll know we have 100 million people in our country who don't have any retirement savings. Guys, we only have 350 million people in the country. So a third of our adult population doesn't have not any money for retirement. That tells me people don't know how to keep money and people don't know how to multiply money, right? There's a reason why almost 70% of us live paycheck to paycheck. There's a reason for that. Why? Because we're not taught anything about our financial system. We're not taught how to hold on to money and then put that money in assets that actually multiply it for us. We don't get any education on that. So what happens is you get a lot of people who come out of high school, they come out of college, but they're financial uh, illiterate. They're financially illiterate. They know how to go out and get a job. They may even start their own business, but they don't know anything about how our financial system works. And the way our financial system works, in my opinion, is at least the way we should be utilizing that financial system is through assets, right? See, assets really changes the game for us. When we own assets that actually generate income, that's how we change the game financially for ourselves, right? So if I can take my active income, whether it be through my own business, small business, whether it be through me working for a company, if I take that income, live on half of that income, and then I take the other half and I invest it in assets. Think about if I did that when I was 21 years old, just getting out of college, boom, just getting into my first career. What if I did that? When would I be able to have financial freedom and walk away from working for somebody? Probably be in my late 30s, in my early 40s. I could probably walk away a millionaire and not have to work for anybody else the rest of my life. If at 21 years old, I understood how to make money, keep it, and multiply it, I could get out of the rat race pretty early on in my life. But see, most people don't know how to do that. So what happens is they extend their time in that rat race. They extend that time on that hamster wheel, right? And they hope and pray and cross their fingers that when they get to a certain point where they can't work anymore, they got Social Security, right? Or they got a pension. Now, for most of us, we're in our lifetime, we won't see a pension, right? Pensions are few and far between. Yeah, maybe if you work for the state, if you work for the federal government, maybe if you work for a municipality, whether it be through the police force or the fire department, or if you're a teacher, maybe there's some type of pension for those careers. But for the majority of us, if you're working for corporations in corporate America, there are no pensions, right? They're not going to take care of you when you put your 20 or 30 years in. They're not going to do it anymore. They're going to say, you better invest your money over these next 20 to 30 years and take care of yourself. We're not doing it anymore. So companies are no longer providing us with pensions and things of that nature. It's on us to clear a pathway, a financial pathway for our future. It's up to us. Companies are no longer taking that on their shoulders anymore. So it's really vital for us as people who are trying to look out for their financial well-being. It behooves us to start learning about this financial system and how to keep money and multiply money, right? And again, I think you do that through assets that you can actually invest your money in. And those assets over time will grow. And hopefully, if you buy the right assets, at some point they'll generate income, right? But passive income, not active income. Active income is where you trade time for money. I go to work, I go from 8:30 to 5:30. They pay me for those hours. See, that's active income, because if I don't get that income unless I go put them 8 hours in, whether it be my own business or someone else's business. Just because you got your own business, that don't mean anything, guys. You still got to trade time in that business to get paid, even in your own business. Because I hear that from people. Well, no, I don't work for anybody. I work for myself. I got my own business. I control my own financial freedom. No, you don't. You don't control anything when it comes to your time or your financial destiny unless you have passive income, unless you have assets that generate income with you doing nothing. That's what you call owning 100% of your time and controlling your financial destiny, right? So what do we have to do in order to learn the rules to this financial game? What do we have to do in order to be able to play in that game? You got to educate yourself. You got to educate yourself on assets. You got to educate yourself on assets that build wealth and create income. Stock market assets, right? Real estate for income. a business also can be is an asset, and it does generate income, but you want to be in a position where you don't have to work in that business in order to get paid. Now, if you've built a business where you don't have to go to work and you don't have to work in it, it runs itself and it just pays you a check, then yes, that's passive income. But if you're actively working in that business, then that's active income. And what you really want to do is have passive income. So you have to learn that skill set, right? You have to learn how to take a small amount of money, be disciplined, consistent, and patient, and dollar cost average into companies, into our stock market, right? Blue chip companies, blue chip ETFs, and cryptocurrency if that's something you like as an investment. But that's one way that you can build assets is through the stock market, right? Through taking a small amount of money every single week, every single month, and making investments into your future, right? Into companies, into your future by buying shares in companies or buying shares in ETFs or buying crypto, right? That's one way. The other way is you can buy income, you can buy real estate for income, right? I can go buy a single family home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, whatever configuration you want, right? And if you can put someone in that property to rent it from you and they pay you every month, guys, that's instant cash flow. Plus, if you buy the property in the right location, guess what? It's going to go up in value. So now you're building your net worth too. Not only are you making income, you're also building your net worth because that property should go up in value every year if you buy it in the right location, right? So that's the thing I really wanted to touch on early on before we go to the Q&A is think about what you're doing with your money, guys. Think about what are you doing with your money. I know you didn't get taught anything in school, high school or college about creating wealth because our system ain't set up for everybody to create wealth. Our system is set up for you to get a job and spend money to make the 1% wealthy. That's how our system is set up. It's not set up. It's set up for 99% of the population to spend like crazy, get in debt like crazy, to do what? To make 1% of the population rich. That's our financial system. And again, guys, I'm not knocking it. I'm just telling you, if you know that, educate yourself. You don't have to be a part of the 99%, right? You don't. You can build wealth because the system is set up for you to build wealth, but you got to know the rules. You got to know how to get in the game. And how you get in the game is do what? Make your income and keep it. Don't get it and spend it on things you don't need, but get your basic things you need to live. And then the rest of that money, invest it. That's it. If you learn that concept, boom, you're off to the races. You can make as much money and build as much wealth as you want if you know those simple basic concepts. Live on less than what you make, stay out of consumer debt, save and invest, right? Live on less than what you make, right? Stay out of consumer debt, save and invest. Do those three things consistently over and over, and you'll build wealth, and you'll be in a position where you can control 100% of your time, and you can control your financial destiny. Well, all right, guys, let's jump into some Q&A. Again, like I said, man, if you guys got questions, the best way to get yourself to the top of the queue is through Super Chat. So I got one coming in right now from Super Friday. Leave DoorDash alone. Learn how to cook. Absolutely. Amen. Super Friday. I appreciate the Super Chat, but you hit the nail right on the head. See, because a lot of people think food is a necessity. I got to eat. No, food is a necessity. But you ordering DoorDash to get food to eat is not a necessity. You can go to your grocery store, buy your food, bring it home and cook it. That's a necessity, not DoorDash. That's a want. That's not a need. That's a want. Oh, I'm too lazy. I don't want to cook. I'm going to call DoorDash and pay them $20 extra to drive 5 miles to bring me my food. That's just ridiculous, right? But that's what we do, right? We want convenience. We don't want to delay nothing. We want everything right now in this country. It's everything right now. I don't want to delay. I don't want to wait 10 years to get the financial freedom. I want to go to bed at night and wake up in the morning. I want to be rich. See, but that's how they got us conditioned, though, right? See, that's how our financial system keeps 1% of the population controlling all the money, and 99% of us don't know nothing about money. 1% know everything about money. 99% of us know nothing about money. So be careful with that, guys. All right, let's see what else we got in here question-wise. Make sure I ain't missed any super chats. All right, let me see here. What we got here? Picky Wolf. Getting out from the rat race takes luck. A lot of luck. I invested a ton of money. All my savings literally hardly earned from my 9 to 5 to trying to escape. Guess what? I ended up losing it. Again, guys, nothing in this life is guaranteed, right? Nothing's guaranteed. Now, I don't know, Picky Wolf, I don't know what you invested your money in. I have no idea, right? But I will tell you there's nothing guaranteed in this life, right? 2 things guaranteed. I take that back. 2 things guaranteed, right? Taxes and death. Those 2 things, yeah. You're going to pay your taxes, and at some point, we got to leave this place. Those 2 things are guaranteed. Everything else, we're taking a risk, man. Now, I know for me, I invested for the last 25 years. I took some L's, but I took a lot of W's too. But I just kept on learning. I kept learning and kept zeroing in on investments that I knew gave me a higher opportunity to do well. That's what I did. I just kept investing and learning and figuring out which investments made the right sense for me. See, for me, real estate was the best investment I could have made early on, right? I just bought properties in good neighborhoods and I put tenants in them. And then over the years, those properties just kept going up in value. Why? Because they were in good neighborhoods and people wanted to live in those neighborhoods. So people are going to pay if they want to live in a certain location. They're going to pay whatever they need to pay to get into that location. So if you buy real estate in the right location, you put a tenant in that real estate and just be patient, it'll be a good asset for you. Stock market assets. Instead of trying to be an expert picking individual stocks, don't try to be the expert. Just find a good broad-based stock market ETF, like an S&P 500 ETF. Top 500 companies in America in it. What do I got to be the expert for? It's already done. I don't have to be the expert. I just got to go find me a good S&P 500 ETF, and I'm going to have the top 500 companies in America in my portfolio. What else do I need to do other than that? So we sometimes make it harder than it really is. Oh, I got to go out and pick all these. Give me all the dividend paying stocks. Give me the top this. Listen, man, if you want to be out there spinning your wheels, trying to be the expert picking winners and losers, it's going to be hard. Take yourself out of the equation. Go get you a broad-based stock market ETF, S&P 500 or total stock market. If that's the only investment you ever made into the stock market, guess what? You would win. Why? Because over the last 90 years, the S&P 500 on average has returned between an 8 and 10% rate of return on average over 90 years. That's how you build wealth, man. But you got to do it over and over. You got to be consistent. You got to be disciplined, and you got to be patient. All right, let's see what else we got in here. Let's see here. Let's see what else we got in here. Real money strategies. Richard, if you were limited to only one investment choice in life, would you choose index funds or property? Good question. Real money strategies. I'm going to say it depends on sort of where I'm at in my life when it comes to money. So for me, at 26 years old, I bought my first single family home. But see, I didn't buy it to just automatically put a tenant in it because I couldn't afford to do that. I bought that single family home through first time home buyers program where I only had to put 3.5% down. And I lived in that property for 2 years, but I always knew up here it was a rental property. I just got to live in it for 2 years until I can make some moves and move somewhere else so I can put a tenant in it. So that was my first piece of real estate I bought. But while I had that property, I started thinking about, okay, I don't want all my eggs in one basket. What else could I be doing? And then I started hearing people around the office talk about this 401k thing. And I was like, 401k, I don't know what that is. They didn't teach me about 401ks in college. My family didn't know anything about no 4. They never had a 401k, so I never knew. But I started listening to people who already were participating, and I said, you know something? If these people are putting their money in and the company's giving them a match, let me take a shot at it. So I start taking a little bit of money, $150 every 2 weeks, putting it in the 401k. But as I was putting it into that 401k, I started doing a little research. I started looking at mutual funds and index funds and growth funds, income funds, growth and income funds. Just started thinking, well, golly, if I'm a young guy and I'm looking for growth, I need to be putting my money in companies that are growing fast. That's where I need to be putting my money at, because I want my money to grow. So I just started educating myself, not trying to be an expert, but just trying to have that basic knowledge of, okay, what is a index fund? What is a mutual fund? And how are they different? Just that basic knowledge I started learning. But for me right now, where we're at in the market, I would say if someone's just starting out and they got limited money, index fund, S&P 500 index fund or an S&P 500 ETF, bar none. You can take $100 a month and start putting it in that thing. And then every time you get a raise, every time your income goes up, instead of your expenses going up because you're spending money on crap you don't need, making somebody else rich, you take a little bit more money. Every time you get a raise, instead of going 100, you go 200, then you go 300, then you go 500. And that's how you start building that wealth, man, is when you get consistent at putting $500,000 a month into an ETF like an S&P 500. Dude, I'm telling you, over the next 10, 15 years, it just grows like crazy through compounding effect in the stock market, right? But yes, index funds would be my number one investment if I'm just starting out and I got limited money to invest. Absolutely. So it looks like I got a super chat here. Actually, I got a couple of them. Super Friday. I appreciate the super chat. Invest in your health too. Absolutely, man. Health is wealth. You made a good point, Super Friday. Health is wealth, man. See, for me, guys, every single morning at 7:30, I'm out of my house in my community, taking me a 4-mile walk every morning. You guys see me making the videos where I'm in my community. That's what I'm doing every single morning. I'm out there. So I'm getting that cardio in, man. I'm just keeping this temple that God gave me. I'm keeping this temple as healthy as I can keep it, right? Because I want to enjoy my wealth. I don't want to be a 60-year-old dude that can't move. And I'm not knocking people that can't move. I'm just saying, for me, health is really important. Wealth means nothing if I can't enjoy it. So Super Friday, you're absolutely right. Let's go on to the next super chat, which is Joseph Dominguez. Joseph, I appreciate the super chat, man. Thank you. Do you think it's lazy when you have young people focusing all their efforts on investing in stocks, ETFs, making 40K a year rather than focusing on investing in themselves to increase their active income first, then investing? Here's the good question, Joseph, but here's what I'm trying to tell you. Unless you have a baseline knowledge about investing, I don't care what your skill set is or how much money you make. If you don't have financial literacy, guess what? You can make $10,000 a year. You can make $1 million a year. You're going to be dead broke. So you got to have a level of financial literacy. So I always encourage people, find out how to keep money and multiply money before you start making money, right? Start when you entry level. Start when you're making $10 an hour. Start when you're making $15 an hour. Start when you're in college. Start when you're in high school. Start learning and getting yourself some financial literacy. So when you do get into money, you already know how to keep it. You know how to multiply it already. My thing is if you delay your financial literacy and then all of a sudden you're making $100,000 a year and you got no financial literacy, it's going to take you 3-4 years of blowing that $100,000 per year to learn. And then that's just wasted time. So what I tell people is right up front, man, start getting yourself some financial literacy as you develop your skill sets, as you develop that level of higher income. That way, when I do get to that higher level of income, I'm already financially literate. I already know about the stock market. I already know about real estate. I already know I already know these things that I can now take that skill set money and invest it in to multiply the money. because I don't want to be where I'm at. I'm have to make active income for the rest of my life to be able to live. That's no way to live. See, we really should take a certain part of our life and dedicate that to making active income. But the rest of our life should be lived through passive income, right? At some point, I don't want to have to work for somebody for the rest of my life. But if you don't have the basic level of financial literacy, that's the path you're on, man. You're on that hamster wheel. You're in that rat race, right? So hopefully that answered your question, Joseph. I think you're right on target, but I think financial literacy, in my opinion, is more important than the level of income. Someone told me a while back, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep and multiply. It's not how much you make, right? I've told this story before about this lady who was a secretary. She worked as a secretary for 50 years, man, just making a basic salary. When this lady passed away, man, she had $7 million. And then the same year she passed away, they did a feature on a guy. He was a Wall Street banker, right? Harvard educated Wall Street banker. Knew everything about money. He filed for bankruptcy, personal bankruptcy. He had 2 mortgage payments that totaled $153,000 per month. That was his mortgage payment. Filed bankruptcy. See, it ain't about all this knowledge, guys. What it's really about is behavior. See, it ain't about how much you make. It's about the amount you do make, what you do with it. So don't chase a lot of money thinking, oh, once I'm making $100 grand a year, I'll start investing then. No, you ain't investing at 10 grand a year. You ain't gonna invest at 100 grand a year. You're just fooling yourself. Get your behaviors right. All right, let's move on. We got some more super chats in here, so let's go in. Let's look at one from Keith Wright. Keith, thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate it. Let's go, Richie. Rich, appreciate all you do. Hey, man, I appreciate you too, Keith Wright. I know you was in my last live, and you was very generous with the super chats, man. Asking good questions. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight as well. I appreciate you. Let's move on to the next super chat, which is Joseph Dominguez. Again, $10, 100% guaranteed. I'm 25 and I still have a lot to learn. But when I talk to my younger brothers, I advise developing income generating skills and investing in different asset groups as well. No doubt, man. No doubt. No doubt. I think those are good things that you're telling them. Definitely. Always invest in yourself, guys. Let's get that straight. One of the best investments you can make is investing in you, right? So that's a good thing. Along with investing in you, you got to also think about, okay, I'm investing in me. Now, once I get this cash, how am I going to multiply it? So you got to invest in you, but you also got to invest in behaviors, right? Financial behaviors, along with financial literacy. And then once you get all that packaged together, then you just got to take action, right? You don't need a lot of money, guys, to build wealth. You don't have to be making 100 grand a year to build wealth. You don't. I keep telling you, it's not the amount of money you make, it's how much you keep and multiply, right? And what you're willing to do from a lifestyle standpoint while you're building wealth. When you're in the building stage of wealth, you shouldn't be living some extravagant lifestyle. You should be living a basic lifestyle. Once you get to enjoyment stage of wealth, you've built your wealth, and that wealth is creating passive income for you. Then, if you want to splurge a little bit and do some things, then do that. But while you're in the building stage of wealth, I would recommend you concentrate all of your money on building wealth. And then when you get to the other side, get to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, then start doing some things that's nice and splurging, right? So that's just my opinion. You guys may disagree, but it's nothing better than financial freedom, guys. There's nothing better than that. I get to do whatever I want to do, right? I don't have to clock in. I don't have to get up in the morning and worry about going to a job, right? I don't have to worry about, hey, can I go buy a new car? Or, hey, can I take a vacation? Or, hey, can I help my family? I don't have to worry about any of that. Why? Because I paid the price. I paid the price 20 years ago when I was grinding. Now I get to live out the rest of my life just doing whatever I want to do that I'm passionate about and I find purpose in. All of us should have that. But you cannot have that, guys, unless you control 100% of your time and you control your own financial destiny through what? Assets. Assets that create passive income. All right, let's keep moving here. I got some more super chats. Let's see what we got here. I got Keith already. I just don't want to miss somebody. Got Joseph. And here we go. We got Rod. Rod, appreciate the super chat, man. Marriage laws also need to be taught in school because marriage is probably the biggest financial decision a man can ever make. You know something, Rod? I think it's a big decision for both a man and a woman, right? I think we're in our country, at least, 50% of people get divorced, and when they marry for a second time, 70% of them get divorced. And you know what the biggest reason people get divorced? Financial reasons, money reasons. That's that. See, because guess what? Like you said, no one teaches us in high school or college about money. No one teaches us that. So we get out of high school, we get out of college, we get married. Neither one of us know nothing about no money. Then all of a sudden we go get these jobs. We start making it money. See, I ain't had the conversation with her. She ain't had the conversation with me about my money skills. We ain't had the conversation about what do you think about 401ks? What do you think about retirement? What do you think about delayed gratification until we build a net? We won't talk about any of that stuff when we meet people. We don't. We ain't talk about that. We don't want to talk about money because that's taboo. Guess what? That's the trap. See, that's that trap. That's that rat trap. They want you not. They want you to be ignorant to money. Why? Because 1% of the population controls 99% of the wealth. Our financial system is set up for that 1%, not you. You're the bait. You're the rat. You're the rat. They dangle that cheese in front of you. You're the rat. 99% of our population is the rat. Right? We chasing that cheese. That's the way they want us to think. So please, guys, be careful. Don't fall into that trap. Educate yourself. When it comes to this financial system in our country, educate yourself. See who else we got in here. Rod, I hope that answered your question, man. Marriage is a wonderful thing, right? But before you marry anybody, you need to sit down with that person and find out what's going on with your financial literacy. What are your goals? What are your financial goals? And then y'all need to come together and try to create some stuff together before you get married, because 50% of first marriages end in what? Financial money problems. That's what end the marriage. Super Friday, super chat. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I knew I had a problem when I calculated my budget with an extra $200K a year and still couldn't save money within 3 years. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. 200K is quite a bit of money. But again, man, I tell people this all the time. I said, what you need to learn how to do is live on 50% of what you make. That's the key, man. You got to learn how to live on 50% of what you make. You do. You got to give up some stuff, guys. See, that's the thing, with us. We in our country, man, we won't give up nothing. We want it all right now, and we don't want to give up nothing. Right? We want our cake and eat it too. Guys, if you're going to build wealth, for the majority of us, we're going to give up some of this short-term pleasure so we can get all this long-term pleasure, right? I'd rather get my long-term pleasure through assets paying for it than me out here working like a dog 50 hours a week and my active income paying for it, right? So we got to get smarter. You ain't got to work harder. You just got to work smarter. Got some more super chats in here. We got Dewan 301. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you. Thanks for all your content. What is the best advice for someone who is starting to invest at 39? Is it too late? Absolutely not. It's not too late. It's never too late, man. It's never too late. Now, here's the thing I would ask you to do. At 39, you need to start thinking about, what am I really trying to accomplish here by investing? What am I trying to accomplish? Right? That's the first question you need to answer. You need to be specific too. Not just, I'd like to have a beach house. I'd like to be, no, you got to be more specific than that. You got to be thinking about your target date. You should be thinking about your target amount, and you should be thinking about your target net worth. Those are the three things, guys. You got to be able to answer that question before you start investing. Because if you don't know why you're investing, if you don't have a compelling reason to be investing, if there ain't something at the end of an end result, if you don't have that, you quit. When times get tough, you'll quit. That's just how we're wired, man. If we don't have a compelling reason to do something, most of us is not going to do it. Not long term, we're not. Not if we hit a bump in the road, not if we hit some adversity. So what I'm telling you, dude, at 39, you need to sit down with yourself and think about, what are my financial goals? What am I trying to accomplish? Right? You got to look at your income, right? You got to look at your income. One, you got to be living on less than what you make. That's number one. Number two, you got to have a financial pathway or a plan, right? You got to be living on a budget. You got to know exactly how much money you got coming in and exactly what's going out. You got to also take a look at your expenses and have a real conversation with yourself. These things I'm spending my money on, are they necessities or are they wants? Are they needs or are they wants? Right? Am I buying all these things that I don't need, making somebody else wealthy when I could be taking that money and investing and making myself wealthy? Right? So you got to and then you got to say to yourself, I'm 39. What do I want my net worth to be at 49? What do I want my net worth to be at 59? If I'm planning on working that long, what do I need my net worth to be to generate, whatever dollar amount I need it to generate from a monthly standpoint? Let's say, for example, you figure you need $10,000 a month. That's what you would need in order to take care of your lifestyle so you can get out of the rat race, right? So you do the rule of 200. Rule of 200 simply states you take the $10,000, you times it by 200. What's that? $2 million. You take the $2 million and you times it by what? A 6% conservative rate of return. That's $120,000 a year in passive income pre-tax. Divide that by 12, there's your $10,000 a year that you need to live on. So now at 39, I know, okay, if I want to generate $10,000 per month from my assets, I need to build my assets to $2 million. Get a 6% rate of return on that $2 million, $120,000 a year in passive income, divided by 12, there's my $10,000 a month. So now I know at 39, if I want to do it in 10 years, if I want to do it in 20 years, all I got to do figure out is through a future value of money calculator, which you can find online, plug in the numbers, and it'll tell you how much you should be investing every year at like an 8% rate of return in order to get to that $2 million in 10 years. It'll tell you exactly how much you need to invest every month. Let's say you say, okay, I don't need to do it at 49. I want to do it at 59. Same thing. Put 20 years as your time frame. And then all you got to do from there is plug in the numbers. And it'll tell you how much you should be investing every single month in order to get to $2 million over the next 20 years. That's the kind of planning, guys, we got to be doing. If we're not doing that type of planning about our financial freedom, we're fooling ourselves. We're fooling ourselves. So Dewan 301, hopefully that answers your question. Let's see who else we got in here. Let's see here. Mark C. Hello, Richard. Glad I'm able to catch you on your live chat. Thank you for not quitting YouTube. Don't let the negativity bring you down. Said in one of your recent videos. Love what you do. Appreciate it, Mark C, man. Hey, man, again, man, I'm gonna fight the good fight, man. I'm gonna keep making this content. Now, I admit, sometimes I got to take a break from the comment section because I'm a human being just like you guys are, right? And I'm in a positive space in my life. And if I feel like anything that's trying to creep in negative, I just remove myself for a time. So the comment section, although I would say 90% of the comment section is favorable and real and supportive and nice. But every now and then you get a couple of knuckleheads that get in there that just kind of get on your nerves. And I try not to block people because a lot of it is just people being people. They're not being hateful or anything like that. Just being people, right? So sometimes I just remove myself from the comments for a while just to get some clarity, and because I don't want to get to a point where I don't enjoy doing YouTube because of the comments, is what I'm saying. Plus, you got to understand there's so many bots and scammers in the comments of these videos that I can't prevent these people from doing what they do in the comment section. And sometimes I have to just take a break from that. But I appreciate your support, Mark. I'm going to keep making the videos, man. As long as people watch them, as long as people want to see them, I'm going to keep making them. So thank you so much for your support. I think I got another super chat or two here. I think I do got a couple of them. Stock up with Larry Jones. I appreciate the super chat, brother. Hey, man, I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing, man. Empowering people to be able to take their own financial destiny in their hands, man, through what? Education, financial education. So, man, I appreciate you. I support you. I salute you. Keep fighting a good fight, doing the good work, because we need to continue to allow people to get this education, this financial education, so that they can better their financial life and not have to be dependent upon someone else to take care of them and do those types of things for them. So thank you, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Let's see. We got Joseph, got another super chat. I appreciate the wisdom, man. What I do now is increase my skill set to be able to earn and save a portion of my money and more out of my parents and move out of my parents. And when I am on my own, get more into investing. Listen, Joseph, you are doing fine, right? You set your own course, man. You know, you're the captain of your own ship. You set sail the way you want to set sail, right? If you believe the pathway you're taking is the right pathway for you, keep taking it. Nothing wrong with that, man. All I can tell you to do is just always be mindful of, if I want to own 100% of my time, if I want to control 100% of my financial destiny, I got to have assets that generate income. That's it, right? You got to have assets that generate income. Now, if you're not interested in that and you just want to run your own business or work for somebody and you're just going to take your active income and that's how you're going to live, nothing wrong with that. But I would recommend doing exactly what you're doing now, but also start investing. At 25, you should be investing. I think that's what you said. You're 25. I think in one other comment, at 25 years old, you should be investing in something, whether it be real estate for income, whether it be the stock market, whether it be a business. You should be investing in assets right now as you build that skill set. Again, it doesn't take a lot of money to buy a share in an S&P 500 ETF or index fund. Let's say you got an extra $100 a month, just start. Because what you want to do, man, is you want to train your mind. You want to get your behaviors right. You want to get your financial behaviors right. You want to have the right behavior. So when you do hit that higher level of income, when you get that skill set going, you already got those behaviors in place, right? So start now on the financial behaviors, just taking a little bit of money. You ain't got to be investing $2,000 a month. Take $50 a month, $100 a month, and start working on the behaviors. Remember, behavior with money, in my opinion, is more important than the knowledge of money. Behavior is more important than the knowledge. It's the behavior, right? Let's move on. Diego Garza, appreciate the super chat. Valuable content and energy. Always love watching you, Richard. Thank you so much, man, for supporting me, tapping in on the live stream, watching the videos, man. Appreciate you. Thank you. Let's move on here, guys, and see what else we got in here. Keith Wright. Keith, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate the super chat. I invested in a gambling ETF. You think this is profitable? It has been going up. It ain't my cup of tea. You know, I'm more traditional. But ain't nothing wrong with it. If you like it, that's the most important thing. If you like it and you believe it can help you build wealth, then hey, man, go get it. And if it's doing well, great. The good news is we live in a country where people gamble a lot. They gamble a lot. So, hey, man, this ETF may do fantastic because we do live in a country with a lot of gamblers. People gamble a lot. That's why Las Vegas is one of the most highly visited places in the world, because people gamble. That's why online gambling, online betting, and all this stuff. That's why all these guys on Instagram talking about they the best, betting coach and all that. Those guys are making millions doing that because people like to gamble. So if that ETF is doing good and it fits within your portfolio and it fits in with your financial game plan, go for it, man. Nothing wrong with that, in my opinion, at least. I think I got another super chat here. Let me see what we got here. Yeah, let me see what we got here. We got Will Smith. All the best from Scotland. Love your energy and positivity, man. Thank you, Will. I appreciate you all the way from Scotland, man. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and supporting me. Appreciate it. TC Fitness, VOOG. Absolutely, man. I like VOOG. That's a good one. That's part of VOO, right? But they just separate out the growth stocks or the growth companies and they put them in its own separate ETF. And that's where you get the VOO. And then the G is for growth, right? And then you got another one that spins off from VOO. It's called VOOV. And the V is for value. That's more mature companies, bigger companies who don't grow as fast, but they pay good dividends. They're profitable. So VOO, man, I tell people all the time, if you're just getting started in this thing and you don't want to be the expert, you just want to find a good, proven, historically proven, profitable investment, go find you a good S&P 500 ETF, man, or index fund. And that's a good place for somebody just starting out to start putting a little bit of money in. And then as you put money in, just kind of educate yourself a little bit. You're not trying to be the expert, but you want to know something about index funds. You want to know something about the companies that are inside that index fund. Don't have to be the expert, but you do want to have that baseline knowledge just to be comfortable with what you're putting your money in. All right, let's see what else we got here. Again, guys, super chats are the way to go if you want to get to the top of the queue. We got a lot. We got about 500 people in the chat. So I'm going to probably stay on for another 30 minutes, probably about an hour and 15 minutes. So we got about 30 more minutes. So if you got questions, go ahead and ask away. And again, super chat gets you to the top of the queue. So let's see what we got here. All right, let's see. I got some more here. Let's see here. I sent you 25K last week, Richard. Where is the receipt from my investment you promised me? You've been ducking my calls and messages. Daha. Listen here, man. Listen. I try not to block people. I try not to just excommunicate people from the chat and from my channel. But come on, man. You know good and well, ain't nobody sent me no $25,000. Why do people come in the chat with this? Okay, let me just move on. I'm telling you, man. Okay, I'm gonna have to block you. All right, there you go. I had to excommunicate it. So what else we got here? Jeffrey Light. Appreciate the super chat, man. Thank you. So VOO versus SPY. Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you about that. This is what I would recommend you do. I recommend you go to both, right? Take a look at the history, the performance history of both of them. Take a look at the performance history relative to the S&P 500 index. So pull up the S&P 500 index. Let's say you look at the 10-year average return on the S&P 500 index, and then you go pull up VOO, and then you pull up SPY. Right? You look at VOO, you look at SPY, and then you look at which one of them, from a historical performance over the last 10 years, matches or exceeds what the S&P 500 index did. Right? That's really what you got to look at, man. When you're looking at these different S&P 500 ETFs, you got to look at the actual index itself, 10-year average return. You take that percentage, then you go look at both of the ETFs, VOO and SPY. Look at what their 10-year average return was. You also want to look at the expense ratio, what type of fees they charge to manage money in SPY, what type of fees they charge to manage money in VOO. So you look at the expense ratio, you look at the performance. And then when you look at those two things, you should have a clear-cut winner. And then if you don't have a clear-cut winner and they're basically equal, then you just got to go with the one you feel more comfortable with. For me, I go with Vanguard because I feel more comfortable with Vanguard as a company itself, because they're one of the few mutual fund index, true mutual fund companies out there. So I love their 70-year history of doing this. So when all things are equal, I'm going to go with Vanguard because I just love their history. I also love the customer service they provide when I call them, right? I love that. They got great customers. So those little things like that, tip me to Vanguard over any other company that provide S&P 500 ETFs. So hopefully that answers your question, Jeffrey. Let's go on. We got another question from Keith Wright. Does Tesla offer dividends? No, Tesla is not paying any dividends right now. What Tesla is doing is they take all of their money, all of their profits, and they roll it back into the company. Why? Because they're in a growth stage right now. That's the reason why, they're doing all of this stuff that they're doing. They're growing. Now, at some point, hopefully, Tesla will pay a dividend down the road. But right now, they take all of that money, man, and they just roll it back into growing the company. And that's why I love Tesla, right? When you look at Tesla, I believe the last time I looked at it, they were like the sixth most valuable company in America. I think they had a market cap of around $930 billion. That's Tesla. And they're a relatively new company, man. They just did that 3-to-1 split. Back in August of 2020, they did a 5-to-1 split. I found one thing that was real interesting about Tesla. Had you invested in Tesla when they did their 5-to-1 split, I believe it was back in August of 2020. It could have been August, July, somewhere up in there. I'm not sure on that, but I know it was in 2020, right? So when they did that 5-to-1 split in 2020, had you invested in Tesla then, you would have had like a 98% return on your money. So if I'd invested $10,000 in Tesla in 2020 after the 5-1 split and just held it, my investment right now would have been close to $20,000. I just think that's incredible. That's one of the reasons why I'm a big proponent of Tesla, is because if you're looking for growth, I'm talking about a strong company. Guys, you don't get to $930 billion market cap unless you're a strong company. You got to be strong, right? And I think Tesla is going to be one of the great companies. Like I said, in the United States, I don't know if it's the world, but in the United States at least, they're like number 6 right now from a market cap standpoint. And they're a very young company. So Tesla, if you guys are sleeping on Tesla, put Tesla on the short list, man. Go do some homework. I'm telling you, I'm calling it right now. I think Tesla gets to $600 a share by December 31st, 2022. That's the reason why I've committed to putting a nice sizable amount of my reserves into Tesla, because I just think over the next 4 months, I just think they're going to do some great things. And if it doesn't pan out, guess what? I still think next year, 2023, they'll do well. I just believe in Tesla, and I believe in the mission. I think they're a great EV company. They're the leader in their industry. And I always like betting on leaders in certain industries. So hopefully that answers your question, Keith. At some point, they should pay some dividends at some point, but not right now. They're in growth mode. Roy, appreciate the super chat. For beginners, Acorns or SoFi investment? Unfortunately, I can't speak to any of those two platforms because I've never used them, and I don't have any real knowledge about them. So somebody else in the chat might be able to check in with you on that, but I have no knowledge of Acorns or SoFi Invest, unfortunately. So I don't know anything about those guys. Let's see what else we got in here. We're almost at 1 hour, guys, so I'm gonna have probably about 18 more minutes. No, let's see, 15, about 22 more minutes, and then I'm gonna get out of here. So if you got questions, again, super chat is the best way to dive in if you want to get to the top of the queue. We got a lot of people in here in the chat and a lot of questions here. So let's see here. What international ETFs do you think are the trouble and which might be worth considering for investing? Unfortunately, man, I don't do any investing in international stocks or international ETFs. I'm a 100% domestic guy. I'm 100% US when it comes to my investing. That's just me. I'm not saying anything's wrong with international investing. I just don't know that game. I don't know the companies. I don't care to spend time trying to learn about the companies. For me, all I need is an S&P 500 ETF. I got the top 500 companies in America in it. That's good enough for me, right? And then from there, I'm gonna go find me a industry-specific ETF, right? I'm gonna pick one of my 11 or 12 industries we have in this country, and then I'm gonna take some of my money and put it in Me, I'm a tech guy. Even though I don't know a lot about tech, I love tech for growth, right? If I want my money to grow, I love putting it in tech because I get the growth I'm looking for. So what I do is I go find me a tech ETF. I like Vanguard Information Technology VGT. I put 30% of my money in that. And then I'll take 20% of my money and I'll do some individual stocks and I'll do some crypto. So 50% of my money goes into a broader based stock market ETF like VOO, S&P 500, or total stock market. 30% goes into like a industry specific or core sector ETF, tech, real estate, healthcare, consumer discretionary, energy. We got 11 or 12 of them. So pick one that you like, right? And then the other 20% goes in individual stocks. And typically with individual stocks, I'm going to pick companies like Tesla, Apple, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, companies like that. I don't really get into too many retail stocks. Just not my thing. I'm more tech or financial services when I'm picking individual stocks. So hopefully that answered your question, man. I'm sorry I couldn't give you more around that, but I just don't know anything about the international stocks or international ETFs. Let's see what else we got in here. How long did it take you to reach $1 million in the stock market? Oh man, how long did it take me to get to $1 million in the stock market? I would say probably 15 years. But you got to understand, man. I was pulling up. I was taking a lot of the money that I was making. It wasn't just my 9 to 5 income either, guys. For years I've had multiple streams of income. So not only was I taking my 9 to 5 income, right, living on half of it, investing the other half, I was also had side hustles. I had luxury watch sales where I was buying and selling luxury watches online and making really good money doing that. Also own real estate. I owned at the time, I probably owned, I don't know, 5 or 7 properties, all single family homes in beautiful communities. And I was getting the rental income, plus they were going up in value every year in appreciation. So not only was I doing the 9 to 5 thing, but I had these 2 or 3 side hustles that I was killing it on too. And I was dumping that money in the market as well. So for me, that's what it was all about. It was all about income, right? Your number one tool to build wealth, guys, is income. Number one thing is income. So the more income you have, the more income you keep, and the more you invest it to multiply it, the quicker you get to whatever your number is, right? Whatever that number is, you get there quicker if you put more money in, right? So for me, yeah, I would say it was about 15 years. Let's see what else we got in here. Okay, guys, we're almost an hour in the chat. So we got about 18 minutes. So if you got any other questions, certainly let me know. Would you pay $1,600 in interest and fees to get $10,000? Is that a good deal? No, I don't think that's a good deal. That's, in my opinion, it's not. Well, you think about it. You're paying, almost 20%. You're paying 16%. 16% you're paying in fees. That's a lot. Now, unless you're taking that 10K and you're getting 28%, that might make sense. Because if you're paying 16% and you can get a 28, 30% return on it, net, you still win. But if you paid 16% and you took that 10 grand and you got a 10% return on it, you losing money. From an interest standpoint, you lose it. So for me, I don't know all the, Tiffany, I don't know all the particulars around what you did with the money, but $1,600 in fees on a $10,000 deal, wow, that just seems like a lot. That's 16%. That's a lot to me. It's just my opinion. You do long-term and generational wealth with your expertise. What's your best side hustle? My best side hustle, guys, from a cash flow standpoint, was luxury watch sales. So from a strictly monthly income side hustle, it was luxury watch sales. And basically what I would do is I would go out on the internet and I would buy, Rolex, Omega, Breitling, Panerai, IWC, I would buy those types of luxury watch brands, and then I would buy them at a discount, and then I would sell them at whatever the online retail value was for the watch. And I did that for 14 years, just boom, Just buying, and mostly I bought my watches, most of them I bought on eBay. I bought them on eBay. I also developed some relationships with some local authorized dealers here in my area that I lived in. So I would go in there, introduce myself, and I wouldn't tell them I was a watch flipper or anything like that. I would just tell them I'm a watch enthusiast, and I want to be able to build a relationship with you. So if I buy 3 or 4 watches, I want to get some discounts. And I just started doing that, and it worked out. So I would buy these watches, and then I would turn around and sell them online, and made a lot of money doing that. My best side hustle from a net worth gain standpoint was real estate, right? Because I buy a piece of real estate, like a piece of real estate I bought for, I don't know, I think I paid $190,000. It was like a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath in a great community, and paid 190, and sold it for a lot more than that when I did find it. But I did that multiple times, though. It wasn't just one property. I did it all through my 25 years of investing in real estate. So from a net worth standpoint, real estate was my best side hustle. But from a every month cash flow coming in, it was luxury watch sales. Good question, though. When you were young, you have time and to compound interest. The best thing we can teach our young people. Yeah. I mean, obviously, the earlier you start investing, right? The earlier you start, the longer your money has to compound in whatever investment you got it in, right? So if I start at 21 years old, investing $1,000 a month, and I do that until I'm 50 years old, that's a lot of money. Over 50 years I put into this investment, and it's compounding that whole time. That's huge. As opposed to somebody who starts at 35 years old with that same $1,000 and they stop at 50, they're going to have less because they got less compounding, right? So yeah, I think the earlier you start, the better. But don't get it twisted. I mean, you can start whenever you start. Just start, right? Just start. Have a goal in mind, what you're trying to reach, and understand the amount of money you're investing with a certain hypothetical rate of return. Can it get you to what your goal is? And if you know that, then you just start investing, right? I know people didn't start investing until they were in their 40s, and they did very well. Why? Because when you're in your 40s, you should have a pretty good income level. You should have a high income skill set by then. So if you got more money to invest at 40, even though you started later, if you invest more money, you can catch up because you're putting more money in than if you were 21 years old, where you may not have that high income, right? So I think you could start at 21 with a smaller amount of money and do it longer. But you can also start later in life, but you just got to throw more money at it in order to end up there at the same time. All right, let's see what we got here. We got about 12 minutes left, man, and then I'm gonna be wrapping up, guys. So I'm gonna read some more questions. Again, if you got a super chat, if you want to get your question to the top of the queue, certainly dive in with a super chat. I'm gonna buy a house. I have 20% down payment, 6-month emergency fund in my money market account. I have about the same amount invested in taxable ACC, taxable account. Should I add that to my down payment? First thing I would ask you, Justin, is what are your financial goals, man? What are you trying to accomplish? What are you at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, what are my goals? What am I trying to accomplish? And I think that tells you what you should do with any money that you have. So you got to have a plan, right? You got to have an end game. You got to have a goal, right? So right now you're saying you're buying a house, you're going to put 20% down. You also got your emergency fund, 6 months. Perfect. Love the emergency fund. I have the same amount invested in a taxable account, right? Should I add that to my down payment? I don't know. You got to figure out whatever your goals are. If your goal is to get your house paid off quick, fast, and that's the most important thing to you, heck yeah, why not? Right? Why not? Because keeping it, unless it's in a taxable brokerage account, or if it's in a, some account that's not earning anything right now, and the most important thing to you is paying off your house, and you already got your emergency fund tucked away, and that's what's important to you is getting the house paid off, then I don't think anything's wrong with that. It just depends on what your goals are and what you're trying to get accomplished, right? Personally, for me, I don't, I mean, for me, having my house paid off and not being able to have access to the equity in it to be able to multiply it is not a path that I want to go down. I don't I don't mind having a mortgage on my house at 3.50% for 30 years. Why? Because as I continue to pay on that house, the cost of that mortgage goes down because of inflation, right? Because my payment is fixed, my interest rate is fixed. So as I keep that mortgage, my cost for that mortgage due to inflation goes down every year, right? So I like that. Then the money that I would be doubling down trying to pay off the house, I could be taking that money and putting it in another asset to build wealth and multiply it faster, right? So not only do I have my house, thing is with my house, it's really a liability if it's not earning me any income, right? My house really is a liability if it's not earning me any income. So I don't want all my money tied up in a house that I got to continue to put money into every year and it's not earning me any money. Yes, it should be building net worth for me through property appreciation, but it's not putting any income in my pocket. It's actually taking income out of my pocket because I got to pay property taxes, right? I got to pay property insurance. You know, if I live in an HOA, I got to pay HOA fees. I got to pay repair and maintenance. See, all of these things through owning a home, I got to take out of my pocket to pay for. So I don't want to put more money into something that I can't make any money with. I'd rather take that money and put it in something that I can make money with. But that's just me personally. You got to do what's best for you and whatever your goals are. And if paying off your house is your primary goal, then go get it, right? Go get it. Let's see what else we got in here. Let's see. Are there coins to pay off? Oh, okay, here we go. Big OSO. Are there cons to paying off your house quicker versus investment in ETFs? Well, you know, there are pros and cons to all that, right? There are pros and cons, but it all depends on what you want to do, man. It's all dependent upon what your goals are. Forget what the pros and cons are for everybody else. You need to focus on you. What am I really trying to accomplish? Is the most important thing in my financial life being debt-free and owning my house outright? Is that the most important thing to me in my financial life? If it is, then that's the path you go down. If over on this side you say, no, I don't want all my eggs in one basket. I want to build additional assets that I can generate income from. Then you may want to say, well, okay, let me think about ETFs. I got my home right here. I'm going to continue making my normal mortgage payment and I'm going to keep paying it down through the normal mortgage payment. But then I'm going to take that extra and instead of paying down the mortgage that I got at 3% or 3.5%, no, I'll leave that alone. I'll take that $1,000 a month and I'll put it into my ETF that over the next 10 years, if I consistently do that, maybe I can get an 8 to 10% average return over the next 10 years by putting that $1,000 a month in an ETF. Now I'm building two assets. I got my ETF or my stock market portfolio building as an asset. Plus, I still got my home building as an asset because it's growing in value each year because I bought it in a good neighborhood where people desire to live. So it keeps going up in value. So that's a nice asset that's building my net worth. But I'm also over here building my net worth. So think about that. Super chat from Mike. Mike, appreciate it, man. No questions, just a thank you. Hey, man, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it, man. It means a lot. Thank you so much. Let's see what else we got here, guys. Looks like we got about 6 minutes, and then I'm gonna be winding up the chat. You guys know I got to plug Webull, man, so bear with me. If you want up to 12 free stocks, click on that link down in the description box of the video, man. Go sign up for Webull. And we was going to give you up to 12 free stocks when you open a new Webull brokerage account. Put at least 1 penny in that account. They're going to give you up to 12 free stocks. And Webull is the platform that I use, guys, for my day-to-day transactions that I do in the stock market. I use Webull. See, you can see my account right here. So I do use this account every day to transact business, buy some Tesla, buy some Apple, that kind of stuff. All my big investments that I use with my ETFs and all that stuff, I do on the Vanguard's platform. And I also have a Merrill Lynch account. So I got a Merrill Lynch account. I have my Webull account for my day-to-day activity. And then I have my big account over at Vanguard. And that's where I house all my 401k rollovers, my Roth IRAs, all of that stuff is over there. So I actually got 3 brokerage accounts. So nothing wrong with having multiple brokerage accounts, man. Do what is best for you. You don't need multiple brokerage accounts, but it ain't nothing wrong with having them if they serve different purposes for you. So just keep that in mind. So we got another super chat from Super Friday, $2. Appreciate the super chat, Super Friday, man. Thank you so much. We got another question here from Faith Builders. I just started Webull account last month. Can you please explain how to begin ETF investing? Hey, do me a big favor, Faith Builders. Send me a DM on Instagram. It's Richard Fain 28, all lowercase. Also, be careful for Instagram scammers, because as soon as you follow me on Instagram, man, you're going to have a lot of fake Richard Fain Instagram scammers trying to follow you and tell you they me, but they're lying. Okay, so just DM me, and I'm going to send you a video that's going to walk you through how to use Webull to buy individual stocks, to buy ETFs, and to buy crypto. So if you DM me, let me know you're in the live, and then just say, hey man, send me the video that you did on the Webull app, and then I'll go ahead, send that to you. It's about a 10-minute video, basic stuff, but as soon as you watch that, you'll know how to use it and you'll know how to buy your investments. Okay, so do me that favor, Faith Builders. Appreciate you stopping in the chat, man. We got another question from Chester. What do you think of consumer staple stocks? Do you see those as a better value than utility stocks as we head into this nasty recession? You know, man, I think, while inflation is super duper high, I think consumer staples, I don't know, man. They definitely, in my opinion, ain't a bad investment if you're going to hold them long term, because you can buy them now at a discount. And as long as you're going to hold them long term. When I say long term, I'm talking about outside of the recession. Once we get out of the recession and we're back to better times, and then yes, they're great for that. But utilities, they're good too. But you got to figure out what you like the best, right? Because they're two different categories, right? Personally, I don't like consumer staples. That's not my thing. My thing is going to be tech, right? I like tech. I like healthcare. Why? Because we have an aging population in the United States. Healthcare is a very, very profitable industry, man. Very profitable. So I like healthcare. I like tech. Why? For the obvious, right? Tech is just the future, in my opinion. I like tech and I like healthcare. And I like real estate. Those are my 3 industries that I really, really like. And if I had to pick a 4th one, it'd be energy, right? It would be energy, like oil and gas, that kind of stuff. So nothing wrong with consumer staples, nothing wrong with utilities. You just have to figure out which one makes the right sense for you. I think if you get in the right ETF and you're willing to hold them long term, you can't lose in either one, in my opinion. But you got to be willing to hold it long term, though. Because right now in this recession, you ain't going to really make any money, but you could buy them at a discount. And then once everything goes back to where we know it's going to go at some point, that's when you'll make your net worth gain 2 to 3 years from now. All right, let's see what we got here. We got a super chat from AUSTERE Jennings. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you, Mr. Fain. This has been a very beneficial live. Finally caught one. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate the blessing. I'm gonna keep on making these videos, man. Like I said, y'all do me a favor also. I know Stock Up with Larry was in the live a little bit earlier. Y'all go check Larry out. Stock Up with Larry Jones. This brother's on fire. The content is fire. Just educate, man. I'm talking about educate. If you want to know something about stock market and trends, and I'm not the guy that's gonna teach all that. I'm gonna give you that motivation. I'm gonna give you that 30,000 foot up version of it. But Larry gonna give it to you, that technical, that fundamental. He gonna give it to you if you want to learn all that. So y'all go check out Stock Up with Larry Jones. That's my guy. I support him 100%. And like I said, thank you. I think that Mr. Jennings, because I can't pronounce your first name, but I appreciate the blessing, man. Thank you. We got another super chat from Jeffrey Light. Thanks, Jeffrey. At 55, good idea to tap into home equity to generate passive income. Too late. Really appreciate your channel. Listen here, man. You guys know this, and I say this all the time. I'm going to use every financial tool I have to build wealth. That includes my home. I'm okay with that. Now, everybody ain't okay with that, and I'm not telling you guys to be okay with it, but I'm just telling you, when I'm in the building stage of wealth, I'm going to use every financial tool I have. I'm going to use my house. I'm going to use the equity in my house. I'm going to use my credit card limits. I'm going to use my cash. I'm going to leverage. I'm going to do everything I can to build wealth, right? Now, in order to do all of that, I got to have a plan. I got to have a financial plan that makes sense if I'm going to tap into the equity out of my house and pull it out in order to put it in something to multiply it. I got to have a plan in order to do that. I don't just want to tap in there and be like, I got this 50 grand. Now let me just try to figure out what I can dump it in. And then you see some guy on YouTube and he says, hey, send me 30 grand and I'm going to give you an automated Amazon store that's going to make you 10 grand a month. No, you don't want to put it in that kind of stuff because that's just poof. That's like a disappearing act. Your money gone. That doesn't work. So have a plan, Jeffrey. At 55, that's not too old, man. It's never too late until it's too late, right? It ain't too late. Just have a plan, though. If you're going to invest that money, have a plan for it that you're pretty confident you can multiply the money, right? That's all I would tell you. Just have a plan and make sure that plan puts you in a position to multiply it. Let me see. We got Super Friday again. Thoughts become things. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. You got that right, brother. Absolutely, man. I believe that 100%. And I appreciate you mentioning that in the super chat, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Well, all right, guys. I think we have reached the end of our time together. I'm going to try to get these lives every couple of weeks, every once a month, something like that. I appreciate y'all stopping by. I appreciate y'all spending an hour or so with me. I really, really appreciate the super chats. I appreciate my man, Stock Up with Larry Jones, stopping by. I just appreciate y'all, man, because y'all have really supported me through this journey, man. These last 2.5 years have been crazy, right? Crazy growth on the channel, crazy support by you guys. And I'm just so fortunate, so blessed to be able to do something that I'm really passionate about and I really find purpose in. And you guys have responded amazing to it. So thank you so much. Again, man, if you're stopping by this channel for the first time, please consider subscribing. Share. Thoughts become things. You can see it in your mind. You can hold it in your hands. You guys keep chasing your greatness. Never stop believing in yourself. And I'm going to catch you on the next live. Peace.